Disco fever has hit Australia this month. Music legends taking to the centre stage. And one of them, he doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know where he is. But his name is Harry Wayne Casey. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well. I'm sorry if you're feeling a bit jet lagged and a bit dazed, but that's life on the road.
It is life on the road. It's been a little better.
Even better?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. You're at Rochford. You've done that?
Yep, and we're at the arena tomorrow night here in Melbourne.
Fantastic. Your music, to me, the disco era, sort of that 70s when it really was huge,
yes,
was happy. It was happy music.
It was. That was the whole idea. I've been writing since I was 13 years old, but in the early 70s, I felt music had gotten really dark, and I just wanted to make this album that was all like up-tempo stuff from side A to side B, and like this happy, energetic type of music, and that's what I set out to do, and that's what we did.
And there was a period there where it sort of, not faded away, but it wasn't as predominant, and then suddenly you were back again. It was what caused that?
Well, I mean...
You've probably always been working, but there was sort of a resurgence of it in the 90s.
Well, I mean, I retired right after Give It Up hit, and I was done. I was tired of the politics of music. I was tired of it just was too crazy for me. I felt very isolated and lonely and stuff, and I just wanted to smell the roses for a moment. And in '93, I decided to come back out because I felt like I'd stopped doing something that I always loved to do, and I've been touring ever since then.
The name of the band, how did it come about?
My last name is Casey. So it's the K and the C. And I live in the Sunshine State of Florida, so I called it the Sunshine Band. It really wasn't a band. It was, I went in the studio, I made this record, and it started making some noise. Or when it came time to decide, what name I was going to put on the record, was it going to be my personal name or some other name, I just called it Casey and the Sunshine Band. Actually, it was Casey and the Sunshine Junkanoo Band. And there was no band, and it was just really me.
2015, you released Feeling You, the 60s. Your tribute to that era, did that shape you as a performer? Was that sort of you, I want to be in this industry?
Well, the songs on that particular album were really kind of a musical diary of my life. And then there was a couple songs that were just kind of fun songs to do. But they were just songs that I felt like always something there to remind me is on the album. And, just at my age, a lot of people have come and gone. And, every time you walk around or see something, you're always reminded of something. So that song kind of applied to my life at the point. I did Both Sides Now because I really feel I've lived life from both sides now. Great song, yeah. And then it was my little political song with Blowing in the Wind by Bob Dylan. Because I just felt like after all these years, he wrote this song back in the 60s, the answer still seems like it's blowing in the wind and everybody doesn't get it.
You're so right.
So it was songs like that just kind of molded, just kind of pertain to what I felt like I had gone through in life in the last 66 years.
Was it nice to do other material?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like, and I started doing that in my shows, and this is how this album came about, is instead of doing just obscure tracks or my favorite song from an album that I had, and the audience is going, yawning or whatever, or not everyone's into it. And it happens to me when I go to a concert. So I started just doing, let me put covers in the show. At least they're familiar to the audience, and that way I would keep everything in the show familiar to the audience, more familiar than doing something that's obscure and it's only familiar to a few. And so that's kind of how I started doing the cover thing.
Harry, I was in a bar the other night. That doesn't sound good, does it? But I was in a bar. It's called the Piano Bar.
Well, it depends.
No, this is the thing that happened that I
like a good bar.
Yes, we should one night. Anyway, here I am at this end of year breakup. The audience was predominantly sort of 20 to 35 in this bar. It's called the Piano Bar, and it's fantastic. And the guy plays a lot of cruise ships and all that sort of stuff. I couldn't believe how 20 to 35-year-olds know every lyric to every song, and that's the way.
Absolutely, I mean,
it was part of the evening, and it went off.
It's been happening on this tour. It's been, the music has transcended many generations, it seems, and I'm happy for that because. It is a music that it's uplifting and a positive message, and I think especially today everyone's looking for the positive message in music, and somehow my songs have just stood the test of time, even though critically they were critics would destroy them back in the 70s.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The critic is the audience.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Tuesday the 12th, Margaret Court Arena with Village People and Sister Sledge. What happens on stage? Are you all on stage together, or do you all do your separate bits?
No, we all do our separate things. I close the show, and Marsha Hines and Sister Sledge and the Village People go on before us. Everybody does a segment in the show.
It must be such a trip down memory lane for people.
I can only imagine. Yeah. I'm not out front, so I don't. I mean, for me, it even is because all of those songs, even though they weren't mine, I was doing things were happening in my life when those songs came out, also that I can associate with. So, I kind of take the same ride as everyone else is taking in the audience, actually, during the show.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, Village People, Sister Sledge, tomorrow night, Margaret Court Arena, frontiertouring.com. Harry, it's great to meet you. And
thank you.
I hope you're still on that disco floor in another decade or two of them.
I'll be, how old is Mick Jagger? I'll keep doing it until I can't do it anymore. And right now I'm here, in wonderful Australia. And tonight is Melbourne. And then we go to Sydney for 2 shows, and then we end up in Queensland.
So you do know where you are?
Yes. Oh, I was just kind of joking. I mean, in a way, because a friend of mine was saying, I'll call you tomorrow, and I said, well, what's your tomorrow? Because I'm already into tomorrow.
It's too confusing.
Right, it's too confusing.
Harry, great to see you.
Thank you. Cheers.